Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Operation Metaverse. Today, we're very pleased to bring you another interview with our favorite members of Capital Games. Today, we have CG Dojafet, we have CG Miller, and also CG Crumb hanging out with us. How's everybody doing?
Doing pretty good.
Yeah, we're doing good. Excited to talk about the StarFortress with you.
Oh,
Thanks for having us.
mm-hmm. And you heard the man there. That's exactly what we're going to be talking about, guys. You guys have been requesting it for months and months and months and months. Please fill out some of the fleets. And today we're very excited to be discussing the newest member of the Resistance faction, if you will. The Resistance gets Resistance tag, perhaps another member of your Holdo team. So okay, guys. I guess what we're going to start with is what inspired you guys to bring this particular ship to the game.
So once we created the Executor, we gave the Bounty Hunters a fleet, and we took Houndstooth away from every other place that it was. It became a priority for us to fill out the rest of the fleets. And top of the list was the Resistance, who no longer had a tank. And so we looked at all the Resistance ships, of which there's not a huge variety of them. And we kind of, with the TIE Bomber and Y-Wing, we kind of have this whole, like, the tanks are bombers, or at least most tanks are bombers. And so it just made perfect sense that the StarFortress would be the tank for the Resistance team.
Now, unlike those two ships you just mentioned, though, this one actually has pilots and has two of them, correct?
Yes, absolutely. We very much prefer to do piloted ships. Crewless ships have some problems, especially as we scale things up. And we wanted to make sure that, we had some Resistance characters out there who could crew this ship, and we wanted to make sure they could.
And those two pilots that you guys will find out very shortly, it's going to be Resistance Trooper and also Rose Tico, right? No Paige Tico, but we're going to get Rose Tico for this one. And these are characters that you all have developed if you have Galactic Legend Ray. These two characters you guys already have rocking ready to go, so that's pretty cool to see. Why'd you guys decide on these two characters?
Well, we definitely wanted to reward players who have invested in Ray with these characters. They're ready, set to go with the StarFortress. And Rose Tico was the ground crew for Paige Tico's StarFortress squadron. They're not necessarily pilots in all cases. The crew of the ship is perfectly valid for us to put in these roles as well. And so with Rose already in the game, Paige Tico's sister, we wanted to put her in as crew, and then we call out Paige in the Special 2. The Tico sister legacy.
Oh, very cool. Okay, Resistance Trooper. I do like Resistance Trooper. Always have a big sucker for him, so this is cool to see. Maybe I've been wanting to pull the trigger at R7 for a while. Maybe I can finally do so. Looks like a pretty cool ship. More elements of target lock. There is an element called the sweet spot. We'll get to that when we get down to the unique. But taunting tank, as said. So the basic is called Gunners Look Alive, right? If the StarFortress's turn, deal physical damage twice, meaning if it's called to assist, it's only going to do one instance of damage, correct?
Right, yeah.
Okay, and then you're going to inflict target lock for 2 turns. If the target enemy has 5 stacks of the sweet spot, recover 15% protection. And again, we'll get to sweet spot shortly. But so just a pretty cool, another element of target lock, which is nice. Maybe gives it some viability with other ships as well with the target lock mechanics. So that's cool to see.
Yeah, and then like you said, we're gonna get a sweet spot. But if you've got that 5 stacks of sweet spot, and you've get a lot of out of turn attacks, this thing can recover its protection really fast.
All right, and this I'm assuming obviously the higher the relic levels, the higher the protection, correct? So now let me ask you guys a question. Rose Tico is one of the. This is probably something I should know. Do Omicrons affect ship stats?
So Omicrons are basically ability tiers, right? And for a character that we are adding an Omicron to, the ship stats only look up to, I believe it's tier 7 or 8. It's weird because we count 0 to X, and so I get confused as to where the things end. But basically, if it's a brand new tier on a existing character who had already a full tier of things, then it's 0 impact, right? But if it's a brand new tier like Akbar, he was 1 short from a full tier where we put the Omicron. So for that one, it actually kicked in that next level of ship power.
Well,
And that did come up when I was asked by the players if his Omicron would affect ship speed. And I was like, nah, it shouldn't, because I didn't know how the ability tiers work there from a design standpoint. So from a player standpoint, it ended up affecting it. So there you go.
I am going to say it is not the most logical and consistent mechanic in our game. And so something like Akbar, that's what happened. And we probably would have put the Omicron somewhere else on the kit if we absolutely did not want it to affect the ship power.
Gotcha. I personally don't have any pilots with an Omicron ability yet, so I was curious about that one. So,
well, he's the only one so far.
Yeah. So Rose, because her Zeta,
Rose.
Rose's Zeta applies as the 8th tier, is what you're saying. And the Omicron will not add ship power, correct?
Right. It should not. No.
Gotcha. Okay. So now we're clear on that. That's good info. Thank you guys. And now Resistance Trooper gets the special one. Begin drop sequence. It's got a cooldown of 3. You're going to deal physical damage. You got a dispel here, all buffs from target enemy. And you're going to remove 10% turn meter per stack of, once again, the sweet spot. You got an evasion down mechanic, which can't be resisted, which is nice, which could come in pretty handy, right, against these Executor teams in a pinch, right? Because, they have the evasion up. Maybe this could neutralize that. How does evasion up and evasion down work together? Kind of like tenacity up, tenacity down?
Yeah, it's basically, what the percentage for each is going to cancel each other out. So.
Gotcha. And if there's 5 instances of the sweet spot on your enemy, you're going to place 3 concussion mines on them, which you guys are probably familiar with the Sith Bomber. Same mechanic there with the daze and the 10% of the target max health. I see. Yeah.
Thermal detonators in space.
Yes. So. Okay, yeah. So another instance of thermal detonators in space. Very nice, very nice. Resistance Trooper, again, good to see him getting some love.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and we'll get to speed spot in a minute. So,
yeah, as you guys mentioned a second ago, Special 2, which is Rose Tico attached to her, Tico Sister Legacy, also on a cooldown of 3. And you're going to recover 50% health and gain taunt for 2 turns. Call all other resistance allies to assist, dealing 50% less damage. If the enemy has 5 stacks of sweet spot, resistance allies assist with no damage penalty, which can be pretty dynamic. If you get the Millennium Falcon, you get Poe's ship. It's a lot of damage you can pump out there. So you're going to recover 50% health, taunt for 2 turns. Call all resistance allies. That's pretty nice. Now,
yeah, we're really looking forward to that ability, kind of like being the I am the tank, and I am going to punish you.
Yes, pretty cool. This is this is looking pretty good. So, and then here finally, as I've said, we will get to the sweet spot, and here it is. The sweet spot is indeed the unique, and this is a little lengthy, guys. So let's see if we can break it down a little bit. At the start of the battle, if all allies are resistance, now. That's just the starting lineup, correct? Or could you only use the 4 resistance ships?
I believe it's just the starting lineup.
Okay. After I asked it out loud, that's a pretty dumb question. I apologize. That's pretty dumb. All right. So the StarFortress is immune to critical hits for 1 turn. And also, now this is the part that was a little lengthy and it was worded weird. And what I read, it says the StarFortress gains taunt for 1 turn if an ally with deflector shield receives damage from an enemy. So anytime your Poe or your resistance pilots or your Rey's Millennium Falcon, if they have deflector shield to take any instance of damage, the StarFortress taunts, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. And deflector shield is the buff that the Radis is giving off. So, and also the Radis is a resistant ship and needs to be in that sort of that ally list.
Right, and then it says in this kind of an old Benish type mechanic. If the StarFortress loses taunt, it gains taunt for 1 turn if it didn't already have taunt, and if another ally has deflector shield. So does that mean if you dispel the taunt, he technically doesn't have taunt anymore, and it will taunt again?
Yes.
Okay, but another ally has to have the deflector shield.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, kind of like the boss mechanic where it's protection based sort of. Okay, so that's cool. Well, the Star Fortress has taunt. It has 100% counter chance, which would generate another instance of target lock, and then if it has 5 stacks of sweet spot, you're going to recover protection on the counter. Correct?
Yep. Yep.
Oh, very nice, very nice.
Yeah, so you see a theme like the 5 stacks of sweet spots get you some like additional effects on your bonuses and damage output, and then a taunt train gets possible rolling after that. So it's definitely a tank, and it has some healing ability as well. It's awesome.
Very nice. Now it says whenever the Star Fortress gains foresight, the Star Fortress dispels it and gains critical hit immunity for 2 turns instead, which is interesting.
So this is kind of our so like this ship made the resistant fleet incredibly powerful. It turns out the resistance fleet was like very close to being overpowered. It just needed another ship like this. So a couple of these things are in here just to kind of like pare it back a little bit. The foresight on the Star Fortress caused some like turn 2 ults for the Radis. So
yeah, the word bonkers was used at one point.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
no, you can't do
so yeah, we kind of had to nip that in the bud. So
In this part, perhaps we should have led this interview with this simple sentence. And you guys are probably asking about what is the sweet spot? How do I get it? All you have to do is whenever a resistance ally deals damage to an enemy, they apply a stack of the sweet spot until the end of the encounter or Fortress is defeated. Now this, I haven't physically seen it, right? But the sweet spot, is that going to be like a locked sort of debuff?
it's a blue status effect.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So
Perfect.
no dispelling it. It'll be there. It has a low priority, so if you're running just the 3 icons above the
And
buff
stuffs.
icon, it won't show up, but you will see the blue dot with the number next to it. So if you're not running any other blue status effects, you should be able to use that to count how much sweet spot's there.
That's a cool tip. I'm old school. I like all the buffs up there. I know it's an eyesore
You
for
need to
some.
not see your screen. Just put all the buffs.
I want to know what's going on. Yeah, I'm a control freak, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, yes. If you want to know exactly what's going on, do not collapse your buffs.
And then it's got here the sweet spot increased effects from abilities that utilize the sweet spot. We've discussed most of those. So
yeah. And the sweet spot is like, it's not vital to the ship and its effectiveness, right? It's really sort of a nice to have. It's kind of a slow ramp up over the course of the battle. Like primarily the Star Fortress is going to be like a kind of a consistent target lock applier, right? And then recovering a bunch of protection and getting those heals on when it is at 5 stacks of sweet spot. So at the end of the day, like you will get there, but it's not like the focus of the ship.
So what encouraged you? Like, where did the name the sweet spot? How did you guys determine this would be the name of the buff, unbuff?
I believe it's an actual like old like bombing term, right? You're looking for like where is the most vulnerable point on the enemy, right? It's the sweet spot. So
now with ships, characters, anything in the game, you guys have pretty much you guys come up with all the names of the abilities. You guys have pretty much creative control over all aspects of the character or ship.
Yeah, we do. We of course have to get every name approved by Lucasfilm. So, but like we every name comes from us. So.
Okay, that's pretty cool. So we do have one more ability. It's the hardware. Some of you guys may still call it the reinforcement ability, but it's the hardware ability. All clear, bring the bombs, and it's just apply 2 stacks of the sweet spot to all enemies. Resistance allies gain tenacity up for 2 turns.
Yeah, this ability, the reinforcement ability, is not really meant to be game changer. We highly encourage the resistance bomber to start on the field, and this reinforcement ability is kind of here because ships need to have a reinforcement ability. So.
Okay, so for newer players that don't have access to the, bukus of, resources that maybe some of the vets have, this is one they could potentially skip over for now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so this is interesting. A lot of people are going to go for Ray first, and I think it gives them a viable kind of fleet out of the gates, right? So this is kind of cool. Kind of double reward you for your GL investment now. So I do like that you guys included two, for lack of a better term, mandatory, or we'll call them required characters piloting a ship, which is very, very cool to see.
Yeah, we're excited to see where this kind of brings fleets. This, alongside the Thai Echelon, is going to very much change the face of Grand Arenas, where now there's a much bigger and diverse fleet pool that is viable to use for attack and defense.
Now I noticed you said Grand Arena there. You did not say Fleet Arena. So you guys, is this ship, this fleet, this ship in particular with the Resistance is not intended to beat the Executor? Is that correct?
We don't have a hard counter to the Executor in any of these ships that we've released presently, but the future is always in motion.
Right. I think with these ships, you guys are taking. Speaking of Grand Arena, you're taking a lot of burden off the maybe smaller GP players and stuff. They won't have to have Houndstooth for every fleet, which I think is a very, very good thing to see. After all this time, it's been Houndstooth goes on every fleet fine, and it's kind of cool to see these fleets being rounded out with tanks. So
yeah, the fact of the matter is, we know what our roadmap looks like. We know what's coming when. We know when these Grand Arena changes are coming. When crystals are going to move to Grand Arena, and like we looked at it, like, when is the soonest we can actually get some fleet help into the game for these fleets, so that everybody kind of has that opportunity for attacks and defense in the fleet area. And like it happens to be right now. That was just the absolute earliest we could get these into the game.
now there's 4 Resistance ships currently. So is there an optimal starting 3 that you guys have found, or?
Having StarFortress in there and your starting lineup is going to be one of them. After that, do some experimenting, do some playing. That's what our goal with this is on top of letting the players figure it out, just providing some more ships for these fleets. We get more ships, right, which everybody's been asking for, and then also it frees up Houndstooth to go do its thing elsewhere and creates a little more diversity and interest in game modes like Grand Arenas and Territory Wars and stuff like that.
I will give you a pro tip.
Ooh, juicy.
You want to attack with the Radis and your Resistance fleet in Grand Arenas. On defense, you can easily manage the enemy foresight, and way better than the AI is able to handle it versus you when you're attacking. So of a fleet that shines when attacking, like the Radis fleet is right up there.
All right, so we've got CG Miller, we've got Doja Fett, and we do have CG Crumb with us. Is there anyone else that helped, or is it responsible for this kit? Like, which developer had the most hands on deck?
So CG ABC, he's kind of our ships guy right now. He's designed not only this, but he's also done. He did the Thai Echelon. He's responsible for a huge swath of the Executor, and kind of just touching ships is his thing. He's our resident expert there, which is why we were able to kind of have such a good tank right out the gate.
Cool. Just want to give a little shout out. A lot of times we get the kit developers themselves on to these interviews. Just want to make sure he gets a little love. Now, something we haven't discussed is how are we going to go about getting this ship? How is the release coming?
So this is going to be a galactic chase. So it's going to be shard drops on nodes, with the percentage based on the amount of energy the node has.
Gotcha. Okay, so for those of you guys newer to the game, all you have to do when they announce this is, and correct me if I'm wrong, you just go and farm the specific nodes. These will be fleet nodes, cantina nodes, can we say?
I am unsure what it is off the top of my head.
Okay.
It'll be in the release notes, so check out there for the exact nodes it'll be
exactly.
on.
We'll include that information at time of release. We'll let you know where it's going to be, and then it'll be a 2-star unlock galactic chase.
Oh, that was my next question. Okay, so 2-star unlock, very cool. With relic pilots, who knows? Do you guys feel that it's usable at 2-3 stars? At least to get in there and fool around with, get a grasp of. Like, do you feel it's usable?
Definitely, you'll definitely want to jump in there and try it. So it's a resistant ship, and I know newer players. Some of the resistant ships are some of the first ships that they're kind of handed, so easier to get to.
Okay. Well, guys, this has been a great interview. Thank you guys, as always, for taking time out of your day talking to us here at Operation Metaverse. Again, guys, CG Josephat, CG Miller, and CG Crumb. Thank you guys very, very much, and look forward to getting our hands on this ship.
Thank you, good old Maurice. This is super fun to be on here.
Yeah, sounds good. Gom, appreciate it, and give our best to T-Money.
We'll do. We'll hopefully we made her proud. Hopefully.
We'll see.
Yeah. All right, guys.
Awesome. Thanks, man.
See you later, Metamaniacs.
Adios.